Imagine layers of darkness, one above another, so deep that even light cannot reach. A darkness so absolute, it feels eternal. For centuries, this world remained a complete mystery to humanity. No human ever saw this until modern submarines finally pierced the veil. Yet, this exact description already existed, written down over 1400 years ago. In the Qur'an. How is that possible? Join us as we explore the incredible phenomenon of darkness in the deep oceans, a scientific discovery foretold centuries ago. For as long as we've looked at the ocean, we've seen its surface glisten under the sun. We assumed light bathed the entire body of water. But science has revealed a very different reality. Sunlight, as powerful as it is, only penetrates the very top layer of the ocean, known as the euphotic or sunlight zone. This layer extends down to about 200 meters, or 650 feet. It's where most marine life as we know it thrives, powered by photosynthesis. But as you descend deeper, the light begins to fade and fast. From 200 meters down to about 1,000 meters, you enter the dysphotic zone, often called the twilight zone. Here, sunlight is so faint that photosynthesis is no longer possible. The world turns into a dim blue-gray expanse. And below 1,000 meters, you enter the aphotic zone, the midnight zone. This discovery was only made possible in the 20th century with the invention of submarines and advanced submersible vehicles equipped with powerful sensors. Before this technology, humans simply could not dive to these depths. The immense pressure would crush any person instantly. The deep ocean was a realm completely inaccessible, a secret locked away from human eyes. Science had to build machines just to get a glimpse of this dark, hidden world. But the darkness in the deep sea isn't just one simple layer. It's a complex, multi-layered phenomenon. Science tells us that several factors contribute to creating this profound blackness. First, you have the surface of the ocean itself. Waves on the surface reflect a portion of the sunlight, scattering it and preventing it from penetrating directly downwards. Think of it as the first filter. Then, above the ocean, you often have clouds. So, even on a bright day, the ocean's surface might not be receiving the full intensity of the sun's rays. But the most significant factor is the water itself. As light travels through water, it is absorbed and scattered. Different colors of the light spectrum are absorbed at different rates. The longer wavelengths like reds, oranges, and yellows are absorbed first within the upper layers. The shorter wavelengths like blues and violets penetrate deeper, which is why the deep ocean appears blue before it turns black. As you go deeper and deeper, more and more light is absorbed until, eventually, there is none left. It's not just darkness, it's darkness upon darkness. Layer after layer working together to create an environment of absolute black. Now, let's turn our attention to the Qur'an, a text revealed over 1,400 years ago. In a chapter called An-Nur, which means the light, there is a verse that describes the state of those who reject faith. It draws a powerful analogy, and this is where it gets fascinating. The verse says their state is like darknesses within a deep sea which is covered by waves, above which are clouds. Darknesses, one upon another. Let's break that down. It mentions a deep sea. It mentions darknesses, plural, layered one upon another. It even describes waves topped by other waves, a phenomenon modern oceanography has confirmed as internal waves, which occur deep within the ocean, beneath the surface waves. And it mentions clouds above it all. This isn't a science textbook. It's a spiritual text using a metaphor. But the accuracy of the physical description is staggering. It describes a multi-layered system creating darkness, a concept no human at that time could possibly have observed or verified. To truly appreciate how remarkable this is, we have to consider the context of the time and place where the Qur'an was revealed. It was 7th century Arabia, a land dominated by vast deserts. The people were primarily merchants and nomads. Their experience with the sea was limited to coastal sailing in relatively shallow waters. They had no submarines, no deep-sea diving equipment, no sonar technology. The deep ocean was as alien to them as the surface of the moon. There was absolutely no way for any human of that era to know what happens to light thousands of feet below the ocean's surface. There was no way to know about the layers of darkness or the internal waves that move unseen within the deep. This knowledge was completely beyond the reach of human senses and technology at the time. Yet, here it is, described with such precision in a 1400-year-old book. So, what are we to make of this? The Qur'an doesn't present this as a scientific proof to argue with. Instead, it consistently invites people to reflect, to think, and to observe the world around them as signs of a creator. The verse itself is a metaphor for a spiritual state, but the physical accuracy of the metaphor is what stops us in our tracks. This isn't about pitting science against faith. In fact, it's the opposite. It shows how they can point in the same direction. The Qur'an asks us to think about the universe and its wonders. Science, with its incredible tools and methods, gives us the ability to see those wonders in more detail than ever before. It's as if the signs were there all along, waiting for us to develop the means to understand them. Science helps us see what the text was alluding to. In our quest for knowledge, some discoveries require powerful machines, advanced sensors, and brave explorers venturing into the unknown. We build submarines to withstand crushing pressures and cameras to see in absolute blackness. We celebrate these achievements as the pinnacle of human ingenuity. And then there are discoveries of a different kind. Descriptions of the natural world, written down long before we had the tools to see them for ourselves. Words that waited patiently for centuries until our own scientific progress caught up, allowing us to finally understand their depth. Is this a mere coincidence? A lucky guess? Or is it a sign, an invitation to reflect on the source of that knowledge? That is a question worth thinking about. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the deep. If you found this thought-provoking, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that explores the intersection of science, history, and reflection.